We are talking about violence against women today on today's hot topic, Double Shot Espresso.
Absolutely. And I think I just wanted to use, a little time to talk about the lessons that we can all learn from the book and the movie. It ends with us. A few of them we've already discussed. And I'd love our callers to join in as well and share with us what they feel that they have learned if you've read the book or have watched the recent movie. But just to kickstart this, and then we will take the callers as well, is we talked about trust and respect and communication, open communication, being able to speak your mind, having boundaries, respect for healthy boundaries in a relationship. Obviously, equality goes without saying. Safety is something we also already touched about, that a marriage, a relationship should make you feel safe. That is the basic human right. But one thing that I'd like to say that I really loved about the film was the strength and resilience of the human spirit.
Mm-hmm.
There's always hope at the end of the darkest tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
So life is full of challenges, and sometimes, we are thrown those really harsh curveballs.
Mm-hmm.
But the courage and resilience that she showed in terms of dealing with it, I felt was very commendable.
Yeah, and she takes that step. It's not easy. She had just,
Yes.
had the baby and everything. I think for me that really jumped out in this film was just the two figures that were the perpetrators, her father and then her
Yeah.
husband, right? People in very authoritative positions, well loved by all and seemingly perfect. One was the mayor of this town, so well loved by all his people who showed up at his funeral. The other one was this highly successful neurosurgeon, oozing with charm and charisma and, just how perfect, a good-looking surgeon.
And in the beginning of the film, really, I mean, you really feel like, oh, wow, what a catch. And
Yeah.
then as the movie unfolds, you realize, okay,
Yeah.
and your likes and dislikes change. I literally found
Yes.
myself disliking the guy as the movie progressed. And I think to portray that so effectively was amazing.
Yes, and the other thing that really jumped out in the movie for me was when, he just tells her it was an accident. Every
Yeah.
single time it's portrayed as an accident that happens to her when she's, fallen down the stairs, when that thing from the oven happens and all that. And so much so that it's gaslighting, right? You think about it and you're like, yeah, maybe it was, maybe it didn't. But then in flashback, when they actually played out that
Yes.
this is what happens, she realizes it really was not an accident. He did push her. He
Yeah.
did slap her,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times women who are in these situations, I think we ourselves tend to gloss over what is happening, that nay, maybe I brought it on to myself. Nay, maybe it didn't happen that way. It did. Let's take some callers. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
हेलो आयशा, आप लोग तस्लीम आपसे पूछ रहे थे कि क्यों औरतें इतना टाइम लेती हैं निकलने के लिए, बात निकल भी नहीं पाती हैं जबकि वो हाईली एजुकेटेड है, सब है. तो 4-5 मेजर फैक्टर जो होते हैं. नंबर 1 इज फाइनेंशियल डिपेंडेंसी. नंबर 2 इज लैक ऑफ सपोर्ट. नंबर 3 लोग क्या कहेंगे. तो आपने देखा होगा जो डिवोर्स रेट है वो 45 के बाद हिट करता है औरतों का, बिकॉज व्हेन दे रियलाइज, जब औलाद उस काबिल हो जाती है कि पाँव पे खड़ी जाती है, तो उनकी फिर वो तख्ता उलटता है उनकी बादशाहत का, बिकॉज औलाद खड़ी भी होती है. फिर औलाद से डरता भी है बाप एट दैट टाइम, बिकॉज वो सारा उनकी रहम करम पे नहीं रहती है बीवी बच्चे. तो वो सब दैट चेंज. सो मैं समझती हूँ कि दीज आर द रीजन व्हाई औरतें नहीं निकल पाती हैं, मेजर रीजन व्हाई. और तो मैंने कहा कि भाई आई नेवर प्रमोट divorce or anything, but अगर उसमें आपको you have to find your battles, you have to see which one you have to क्या आपके लिए ब्रेकिंग पॉइंट क्या है. तो मेक अ लिस्ट. नॉट एवरीवन नीड्स टू लीव, बट अगर वो एक दफा हमारा हाथ ऊंचा है ना, तो फिर वो उठा हुआ ही रहता है. So if you are okay with it, stick around.
Yeah.
But I think self-respect is very much important for your.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. Very well said. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम, I'm back again.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम जी. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरी आप सुना रही थी हमें.
जी, तो मैं ये बता रही थी कि how my husband is talking to her to his 15-year-old and telling her, ever you get married, whenever that is, आज कल 10 साल के बाद, make sure that when you're living with this person, that's when you really get to know the person. So make sure that you don't make any huge decisions within the first 2 or 3 years of your life. Huge decisions he meant कि बच्चे मत पैदा करना तब तक. For the fact that अगर बच्चे हो जाते हैं तो सारी औरतें जो होती हैं वो उनमें एक मदरली इंस्टिंक्ट होती है, वो उनको प्रोटेक्ट करने की वजह से एक अब्यूजिव रिलेशनशिप में फंस सकती हैं, जो जनरली 99% फंसती ही हैं औरतें, वो अपने बच्चों की वजह से नहीं छोड़ के जाना चाहती. So this is my husband telling his 15-year-old that never make any big decisions when you get married within the first initial years of your marriage. And big decision he meant that don't have babies, which he specifically cleared to his 15-year-old that don't have babies immediately.
Good for him. Good for him. Great,
So,
Fatma.
ये एक चीज उन्होंने बताई. और दूसरी चीज जो अभी आपने it all ends with you की बात बताई, I feel that all the abusers are hugest of charmers. Because आप टेड बंडी को देख लीजिए, सबसे ज्यादा जो सीरियल किलर था, सबसे बड़ा चार्मर तो वही था. पूरी दुनिया में जब उसको पकड़ा गया तो कोई मानने को तैयार नहीं कि ये हो सकता है सीरियल किलर. ये जो इतना हैंडसम, इतना चार्मिंग और इतना एलोक्वेंट बंदा, क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा जो उनकी प्रे वो उस चीज के ऊपर करते हैं, अपना चार्म उनका वेपन होता है. आप कोई भी अब्यूजिव रिश्ता देखिए, जैसे हमने इतने दिनों से हम जिक्र कर रहे हैं, या इतनी देर से हम जो जिक्र कर रहे हैं कि मियाँ जो है वो बीवी के ऊपर किसी एक छोटी सी चीज स्पार्क करेगी, उसका गुस्सा उसे मारेगा या उस पे चीखेगा, चिल्लाएगा, फिर थोड़ी देर के बाद ही रियलाइजेस कि क्या हुआ है, और फिर ही कवर इट अप, फूल लेकर आएगा, बीवी को प्यार करेगा, बाहर लेके जाए.
Time up for you.
I'll get back.
Okay, thank you, Fatma. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
जी आयशा जी.
जी.
तो मैंने सोचा मैं भी अपनी फीडबैक दूँ इस मूवी से रिलेटेड. मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी थी एंड इट्स वेरी आई थिंक रिलेटेबल एज वेल. बहुत ही सबसे अच्छी चीज जो मुझे इस मूवी में लगी है, क्योंकि हम लोग ना जैसे हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं काफी देर से इस पे डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस पे, तो सब लोग मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द फिजिकल अब्यूज के मारे गए एंड ऑल दैट. लेकिन इस मूवी में उन्होंने इतने नाइसली आपको शो किया कि इट्स ऑलवेज नॉट द हिटिंग. ठीक है, देयर आर मेनी अदर फॉर्म्स ऑफ अब्यूज जो एक्चुअली हमारे देसी कल्चर में उसको बहुत नॉर्मलाइज किया जाता है कि कोई बात नहीं, ऐसा है तो कोई बात नहीं, मारा तो नहीं है ना, किसी ने ये तो नहीं किया, वो तो नहीं किया. तो अगर सिर्फ आपके इर्द गिर्द कोई चीजें तोड़ आए गुस्से में आके, आपकी सिर्फ एक बात के ऊपर, किसी बात पे आपने मना कर दिया है, किसी बात पे आपने कुछ अपनी वॉइस को रेज कर दिया, तो आप वो चीजें टूटना शुरू हो गई हैं, घर की बर्तन टूटने लग गए हैं. तो ये सब चीजें सब, वो लड़का उसकी फोन को फेंकता है जोर से गुस्से में आके, एंड ऑल एंड देन ही ट्राइड टू स्टेप आउट, और हल्का सा पुश कर दिया, तो वो लोग कहते हैं तो क्या हुआ, चोट तो नहीं लगी थी ना, ये तो नहीं हुआ था ना, पुश ही किया, तो वो तो नॉर्मल, तुमने आवाज उठाई होगी, राइट, तुमने कुछ किया होगा. तो ये चीजें पीपल, हम लोगों को पता ही नहीं है माशाल्लाह से कि ये अब्यूज होती है, राइट. एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट, स्पेशली इन ये जो मैरिटल रिलेशनशिप्स होते हैं, इसके अंदर जो आपकी जो इंटीमेट जो आपका एक वो फैक्टर है, उसके अंदर जो अब्यूज इन्होंने उसमें दिखाई है, बहुत ही जेंटल उन्होंने उस वे में दिखाया. लेकिन हम लोगों को ये नहीं पता कि जब आपको मैरिटल रेप को क्या होती है चीज. ठीक है, हम लोग समझते हो हस्बैंड वाइफ का रिलेशनशिप है तो इट्स एब्सोल्युटली फाइन, आप दोनों जैसे मर्जी करो तो कुछ नहीं होता, ये नहीं होता, वो नहीं होता. बट इस मूवी में मुझे चीजें बहुत अच्छी लगी हैं कि उन्होंने एक एक चीज को एग्जैक्टली वैसे दिखाया जैसे वो होती है रियल में. तो एंड सेकंड थिंग इज, मुझे ये चीज भी लगी कि उसमें जो वो गिल्ट ट्रिप्स जो लड़की को हो रही थी ना, शी वाज सो कंफ्यूज्ड कि वो इतना अच्छा है उसके साथ, इतना प्यार करता है उसको, इतना ख्याल रखता है उसका, तो वो शी वाज सो कंफ्यूज्ड, और वो बेचारी उसको समझ ही नहीं आ रही थी. एंड देन शी हैड द गिल्ट टू कि वो उसको छोड़ रही है एंड ऑल. तो वो चीज जो होती है ना, वो मुझे लगता है हर बंदा उससे गो थ्रू करता है, खासतौर पे औरतें। और इस तरह के मैनिपुलेटिव जो रिलेशनशिप्स होते हैं जिसमें वो कंटिन्यूसली मोहब्बत आपको एक कंफ्यूजन में रखते हैं कंटिन्यूस, कि आप पता नहीं वो आपसे बहुत पसंद भी आपको करते हैं, बहुत मोहब्बत है, बहुत। और क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि एक चीज मुझे ऐड ऑन करनी थी पहले भी, कि अनफॉर्चुनेटली मुझे ऐसे लगता है, कल मैं ऐसी सोच रही थी कि हम लोगों को शायद पता भी नहीं है कि एक्चुअल केयर या एक्चुअल मोहब्बत या एक्चुअल सेल्फ केयर, या जब हम बड़ी बड़ी टर्म्स बोलते हैं, हमें एक्चुअली उनका मतलब नहीं पता किसी को भी। तो मुझे, हम लोग बचपन से हमें सिखाई ही नहीं जाती, तो हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा कंफ्यूज्ड जनरेशन है इन चीजों को लेके। सो दैट्स व्हाई वी गो थ्रू दीज थिंग्स एंड इट टेक्स लॉट ऑफ टाइम क्या आपको अंडरस्टैंड करने में, और आपको केयर और प्रोटेक्टिवनेस और उसके अंदर डिफरेंशिएट करने में कि कहाँ पे आपकी कोई बाउंड्री क्रॉस हो गई है, या कहाँ पे वो प्रोटेक्टिवनेस नहीं है, वो अगले बंदे की साइकोलॉजिकल कोई डिसऑर्डर है, ठीक है, जो आपको वो किसी से मिलने पे मना कर रहे हैं, या आपको फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंट, या आपके अकाउंट्स ओपन नहीं करने दे रहे, या आप चीजें तोड़ रहे हैं गुस्से में आके, या अगर आपको कोई चीज तोड़ी उसके बाद लोगों के सामने एक बहुत आइडियल कपल का डिस्प्ले है कि उससे ज्यादा तो आपसे कोई मोहब्बत ही नहीं कर सकता दुनिया में, एंड ऑल दैट। तो आई थिंक ये बहुत छोटी छोटी चीजें जो इस मूवी में उन्होंने बहुत सटल वे में दिखाई हैं, तो मुझे मूवी बहुत बहुत पसंद आई थी।
Yeah, and you're right. It's that whole thing about walking on eggshells. Doesn't have to be physical abuse. Lekin if you're just watching every word that you're saying, if you're watching every step that you're taking, then yes, that is emotional abuse. जो आप बिल्कुल सही कहती हैं कि हमारे कल्चर में बहुत होता है, and marital rape I think is a topic that we
can actually touch on.
We will do, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Madiha. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
जी आयशा, मैं सिर्फ एक बात ऐड करना चाह रही थी। मदिया सो राइट ऑन ऑल दोज थिंग्स, यू नो, 100%। और हम लोग कहते हैं कि फॉर द किड्स वी से वी विल डाई फॉर यू टू प्रोटेक्ट यू एंड दिस, बट इट शुड बी चेंज दैट वी विल लिव फॉर यू, बिकॉज दैट इज द रीजन टू लिव। यू नो, डाई, मेरी माँ मर गई थी, you know, she didn't break the cycle. And it was not physical involved, but mental, emotional, financial, yes. You know,
and that's why I love the name of the movie. And it's a book, right? It ends with us.
Us, exactly.
Yeah, you know, and when she holds her baby and she says, it ends with us, that was such a beautiful moment too.
Yeah.
That's correct. And मुझे वही flashback किया कि नहीं, you know, my mother could not stand up for those things. But I did end it.
Yeah.
I am showing my son that is not acceptable.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we have to live for our children. We cannot, you know, that saying is, I can die for you. No, die करके क्या करोगे?
Yeah.
But
Beautiful.
you have to show them.
Yeah,
बिल्कुल ही,
absolutely,
बहुत
शायदा जी।
ये तो एक मीनिंग, आई थिंक ये पूरे शो का एक मेरे लिए तो बहुत ही स्पार्कलिंग मोमेंट है, where you know this age old thing of I can die for you has to change to you know, I can live for you, which is so
and
beautiful.
I can show you how to live. You know, that's what, look, we are the biggest role models for our children, right? So show them what a great relationship is like, both parents.
Absolutely.
And I really do want to spend just 2 minutes talking a little bit about these red flags. If you are in a relationship and you don't know whether, you know, what is going on is something that is unacceptable, is bordering on abuse, there are many signs that that can sort of make you understand that yes, this is not acceptable. For example, if there's insane amount of jealousy, intimidation, if there is fear used to control the partner, if there's just domination, if they are the ones setting the rules, making all the decisions, if there's isolation, if the partner is keeping you away from your family, from your friends, not allowing you to go anywhere, discouraging you from having outside relationships, that is a very big red flag. Possessiveness, if they are treating you like they are your property and they own you, constantly criticism and putting down of the partner, blame, if they don't take any responsibility, blaming others for problems, everything is you deserve it because you did this or said this. If they're constantly checking up on you, checking your phone, checking your emails, where you are, what you're doing, who you're with, that's another red flag. If they have an explosive temper, they're losing control, they're throwing things, yelling, screaming, those are huge signs. And then entitlement, believing that they have the right to do or say anything without any consequences. Again, these are a lot of red flags which should tell you. One of our callers said that they realized in the first year of their marriage that their partner did not respect them, and it took them 42 years to take that decision to live their own life. 42 years. Get the help you need.
And that actually, that's another thing I wanted to, end the show with, is that it's good to ask for help. It's a sign of strength. It is not a sign of weakness. We saw that in the film as well, that asking for help is necessary, and it's an important aspect of you finding yourself, because what did that lead to? If you remember in the movie, she goes to her ex and is there standing in the kitchen that, okay, now this has happened, help me, and he takes her in for that one night, but she takes that time to heal. And therefore, in the end, when we see that, she does her justice when he's holding her his baby, she says, okay, that's it, I want a divorce. I didn't see that as revenge. I saw that as a very mature way of handling it, where actually she named her baby after the brother that he had accidentally killed, Emerson Emmy, and then said that, I want a divorce. So she actually tried to heal him by actually naming their child after the brother. So heal your angst.
Right? He says this is the nicest thing that
anyone has done for me. And then she goes on to say that I want a divorce. So there was no revenge, there was no angst, there was no, because हम इतने emotionally riled up हो जाते हैं, और मैं जब couples या divorce cases के साथ काम कर रही होती, तो I noticed that a lot of them are working out of just emotions, right? And when you are taking a divorce, trust me, that part needs to be addressed, at least as best as it can. Of course, it's a journey, and healing, it takes different amounts of time for different amounts of people, but divorce is one decision that you just cannot take out of angst. It has to be a mature, well thought of decision,
because there are consequences, and consequences for many different individuals who are involved in. And conversely, if you are the one who is doing the abuse, we focused on the person receiving the violence at the other end of it. If you're the one who is like knows that there's something wrong and you don't know how to control yourself, please get the help that you need. Number one, understand the implications of what you are doing with that person, and that self-awareness leading to self-regulation, and maybe getting help through a life coach, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, whatever it is. It's worth it. It's worth it that you save yourself and you save the people around you, because ultimately these are people you love. It's your spouse, your kids who are being impacted by all this. So
yeah, and the bottom line is that love is not enough, and I think a lot of us live in that la la land ki, oh, love, that big bubble that we see in the movies sometimes. And I think a relationship is built on love, trust, respect, communication, and all of those other qualities which make a relationship as amazing as it is. So make sure that you are that your love should not hurt you. So I do understand a lot of people say, oh, but he's not possessive. I mean, possessiveness to a certain extent can be lovey-dovey, but too much possessiveness, like we saw again in the film, when he just goes in the bathroom and then there's a big fight in the restaurant because he sees that they are talking. I feel that love just should not hurt, period. Physically, emotionally, mentally, whateverly. It does not control, it does not manipulate, and there is no room for jealousy. There has to be open communication in order to make your relationship thrive.
Yeah. I came across a quote when we were talking about what can we do, and I thought this actually fit the bill. And it says, when violence against women is no longer socially accepted, no longer kept secret, when everyone understands that even one case is too many, that's when it will change. It will change because you and me take a stand against it.
Beautiful.
That's the only way.
Yep.
Thank you so much for staying with me. You have anything that you want to end with?
Yeah, I just would like to say that you are not alone. I think for all of our listeners, even the silent ones, that the fact that, there are so many women who have called today and spoken, and there are now books and movies made on this, and we are watching media unfold with so many live cases. I think there are people who have, experienced abuse and trauma, and for them, there is help available. You do not have to go through this alone. So I think that would be the message that I would like to leave all of you with, and that to know that love is not perfect. I agree that it is oftentimes complex and messy, and you don't need to shout quit or out at the drop of a hat. But at the same time, it is never, ever toxic or abusive.
Absolutely. And thank you to Mona Kafil for coming on the air. I want to give out that TMWF hotline number again, 972-880-4192. Thank you so much for staying with us today on Double Shot.